Daniel Hill. It is a slow news day in the social media world, and additionally, the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, did not do his weekly Ask Me Anything like he normally does. He posted the question, I assume people answered it, but then he actually never went through the answers. So sometimes it happens like that. Instead, I wanted to share a recent interview that I did with Kirsti Lang, who is a content writer at Buffer. Buffer, if you're not familiar, is a social media management app. You can post to all the social media platforms at once. You can customize your posts for each platform before you post. Buffer's a fantastic app. Because Buffer is able to post to so many different social media platforms, the team has a ton of analytics data about what kinds of posts work well, when is the best time to post on each individual platform, and more. Kirsti gave a deep dive into all of that. Here's the interview. Today on the show, we're here with Kirsti Lang. Kirsti, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel.
Kirsti, for people who might not be familiar with you, can you tell us who you are and what it is that you do?
Oh, what don't I do? So I am a content marketer by day and then a creator, podcaster by night. I say that, but mostly I do work in the day. I don't actually work at night. I work as a writer for a company called Buffer, and we make social media management software, which is awesome. It's a fantastic company to work for. My area of expertise in both kind of my content and my work is social media, productivity, career growth. Yeah, so those are the kinds of things that I talk about on the internet.
I love that. I have talked to other people from Buffer on the show. I recently had on Miranda Marachko from the product team at Buffer. We talked about the Threads integration. And if you work in social media and you're not familiar with Buffer, it's a fantastic tool that lets you post to multiple social media platforms at once. If you are just starting out, the free version allows you to post to 3 social media platforms. You can customize the text or the caption, I should say, for each one. If you're not familiar, highly recommended. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the data that you and the team at Buffer have been sharing recently, especially when it comes to what you found by analyzing all the Instagram data available to you and the rest of the team at Buffer. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things that I am working on right now. We have, obviously, as you mentioned, we have a wealth of data because Buffer has analytics features as well. It varies platform to platform, but we have a lot of data that we're able to tap into to help users and other folks on social make data-driven decisions about their content, right? Because platforms are getting better about doing this. So for example, like Adam Mosseri has done like a bunch of really helpful videos where he's explained the algorithm. And I think they're really trying to be more transparent about that at Instagram in particular. Sometimes it's quite difficult to understand this algorithm and that algorithm, and this one ranks this cents per reach, and then we're talking about likes, and then we're talking about engagement, and it's very confusing, even for someone who lives social. So I love this project because it really helps us demystify some of that, the black box of the social media algorithm, and help folks make informed decisions about that. We also have a data scientist on our team, which I know we're incredibly lucky to have. He's just one person, and the amount of work that Julian does, shout out to Julian, is insane. But yeah, so I'm able to be like, hey, Julian, can you tell me what is the impact of posting consistently on social media? Can we figure that out? And he's okay, but what actually do you want to know? I'm like, I don't know, just tell me some numbers, what you got. And he's great. So he will come up with like charts and spreadsheets, and yeah, it's fantastic. And we're really focusing on these data-driven articles at the moment. We've got data on all of the platforms that Buffer supports. So yeah, it's been a fun project.
Okay, that's fascinating because a lot of times when you are trying to post consistently, you're trying to maybe work on a specific niche or a specific angle or focus, and it seems like it's not really resonating. You're trying to figure out why is it not, right? And so to have that data across multiple accounts, all the Buffer clients who are making posts regularly and being able to analyze that data and say, okay, what does that mean for me? I want to get into that when we talk about what is the best time to post. Historically, and I'm using this as a brief example because that's something that you can see within the Instagram app. You can tell, okay, when are my followers online? But that doesn't necessarily correspond to what is the best time to post. And I think historically people have said, and even Adam Mosseri, post a little bit before your followers are going to be online. Okay, if my followers are online at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., let's just say, then my post should be at 8 a.m. So then when they open up the app at 9 a.m., they can see it. I think from what I'm reading in the buffer data that you posted, that's not exactly the way to do it. A little bit different. So can we save that for later in the conversation? But that is absolutely something I want to dig into. If we can,
Yeah, of course we can.
Let's start with the first report that I saw, which is where you and obviously Julian, the data scientist, came out with this post that Instagram Reels are best for reach, but not necessarily engagement. And can you talk about what that title means and a little bit about the data that you uncovered?
Yeah, so as part of our kind of we have a best time to post series that we are updating annually. And as a part of that, we look at the best performing content on the platform. And we have been including that all in the same article or report. But this year we just decided to dig a little bit deeper because I think the general, I want to say zeitgeist, that's not the right word, the general advice that people will give you about Instagram is just Reels. And that's great and it works, but it's also quite intimidating. So we wanted to dig into the different metrics to see, okay, Instagram becoming TikTok, and maybe that is going to be the case in, the next couple of years or a couple of months, even given the rate at which they're making changes now. But yeah, so we looked at both reach of Instagram posts and engagement of Instagram posts. And what we found was,
I'm going to pause Kirsti right there so that we can take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to get into what Kirsti's team found as a result of looking at all that data. Stick around. Welcome back. We're talking with Kirsti Lang from the Buffer team about all the data that the team has put together on the best times to post and what kind of content you should be posting for maximum engagement. Here's the rest of the interview with Kirsti.
What was really interesting was that obviously the reach of Reels was significantly higher than other different content types. And so the 3 different content types we looked at and classified was single photo posts, Reels, and then carousels. And when we say carousels, obviously we mean multiple photo posts. So that's not, I know LinkedIn people listening to this might think that's like a PDF carousel or something. It could be that, or it could be photos. So any just multi content post, it could include videos as well, of course. Yeah, so we compared all of those different content types, and I think I'm gonna look at the numbers right now because I can't remember them off the top of my head. I've been working on a different data article today, and all the numbers tend to blur after a while. But yeah, so sorry, Daniel, I'm getting there. So Reels see 36% more reach than other post types, which is in line with what we expect. Obviously, they came out significantly higher than single photo posts and less significantly higher than carousel posts. The carousel posts do see more reach than single photo posts. But then, and this surprised me a lot because I think historically we have tied engagement to content performance, right? We know, if you know anything about the Instagram algorithm, and previously the advice that you would give is engagement is the most important signal to the algorithm. So that is what is going to determine your reach. And that's not necessarily true in this because there is such a big discrepancy between reach and engagement of Instagram post types. So actually, Instagram carousels.
Wait, before you go any further, no, I agree. And I'm locked in on everything you're saying. If somebody is not so familiar with these terms, can you define how you are explaining reach versus engagement? I have in my head that reach would be the number of people who would see your content, and engagement would be how many people that actually take action on it, meaning they like it, they make a comment, they share it with somebody else, or they save it. I just want to make sure that I'm, number one, defining that in the same way that you are, and second, that the audience is aligned with that as well.
Yes, absolutely. I asked Julian this, and I was just want to dot my I's and cross my T's. So you've summed it up perfectly. We define Instagram reach in the same way that Instagram does. So that is the total number of times the account's media objects, I'm not making this up, total amount of times the account's media objects, so that is your posts, have been uniquely viewed. Right. And then engagement is exactly what you said, the number of likes, saves, comments, and shares on the post, minus the number of unlikes, unsaves, and deleted comments. So that is the kind of thing when you will go and report a post or say, I don't like this content. Yeah, so that obviously
or maybe if you're snooping and you go way back in someone else's content really far and then you accidentally like it and then, oh no, and then you unlike it. That could be part, but I'm digressing. Please continue. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've done that fairly recently and it's very embarrassing. And I had to Google, is that going to show up in notifications?
Yes.
Probably, but it's fine. We move. Yes. And then we were talking about carousels and how they see more engagement. Now, so they only see 12% more engagement than other post types. So they get 12% more engagement than Reels. and then 114% more engagement than single image posts.
Can we just pause on that data? Because you said so much there. So for getting in front of the maximum number of eyeballs, in that case, you would want to use a reel. If you want as many people as possible to engage with your post, it would be better to use a carousel. And you just said the percentage to back that up. Can you say that one more time, please, if I understood you correctly?
So carousels on Instagram get 12% more engagement than reels.
Right.
According to our data. Yep. And then 114% more engagement than single photo posts. Carousels are phenomenal. They are so great for engagement. And I think if you think about how you engage on Instagram, I find commenting on a video or engaging with a video kind of weird. I don't like to do it. It's just like it's not, especially for like creators, people that I don't know, I'm not really going to go in and engage in that way. And that's why I think recently Adam Mosseri was on the Colin and Samir podcast, and he spoke about sends per reach and how important that is. So that's what they look to for reels as like the engagement metric, because people don't engage on reels in the way that they do on maybe carousel posts. And I think it also, I'm getting super into the weeds here and just extrapolating on the data, but I think it also comes down to how people use carousels as well. So my feed is mostly filled with people who will do like really authentic photo dumps, and it'll be less polished images in a carousel, right? Because you can still keep the feed aesthetic by having your initial post or your initial photo look quite good. Yeah, so I think engagement is just feels so much more natural and much more likely on carousel posts. So that's something that I've been thinking about in my own Instagram content. And what I love about this is it shows, and I think a lot of people who love Instagram are still quite intimidated by video. And it's feeling very much, if I'm not making reels, then should I even be on Instagram at all? And this data shows that yes, you can still get a lot of value from not single image, sorry. You can still get a lot of value from photo posts if you turn them into a carousel. Yeah, I think that was really comforting for me as someone who just doesn't have the capacity to be making 3 reels a week.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Kirsti's going to dive into the data that shows the best time to post on Instagram. Stick around. Welcome back. We're talking with Kirsti Lang, who is a senior content writer at Buffer, and she's sharing some of the insights that the team was able to gather based on the data that they have from people posting using the Buffer app. Here she is explaining more about not only the analytics that they found, but the best time to post on Instagram. I'm so glad you talked about that, especially for photographers, because if you're a photographer, you might be very frustrated with the Instagram experience. You work so hard to take that photo, set it up, make it look great, and then you're going to say, the Buffer statistics said that it's 114% less likely to get engagement. Why would I bother? But putting them together in a carousel, the 10 best images you took in January 2025, one of those 10 or 20, however many pictures, someone's going to one of those the best. And right. And that's the likelihood that they're going to share it, tap on it, comment, whatever. So I think this is a really important finding. Because I want to be conscious of time, I want to jump into some of the other data that you and the Buffer team have been sharing recently when it comes to the best time to post. Do you mind talking a little bit about some of the findings that you've had around that?
Yeah, so we've had this data for a while. We had our 2024 data up last year, and now we've completely refreshed that. I'm in the process of overhauling all of the articles to reflect the latest data that we have. So far, I've done Instagram, and we've got LinkedIn up, and we've got TikTok coming. So by the time this is published, maybe this will all be out. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. I love the best time to post data for Instagram because, as you highlighted earlier, and this is something that I've seen in my own content, right? So my Instagram insights tell me that my audience is most active at 6 p.m. And so I've been posting content at 6 p.m.
Actually, sorry to interrupt. Is that 6 p.m. in your time zone, or is that 6 p.m. in the Instagram headquarters time zone?
Oh gosh, this is a whole other like worms with best time to post data, because so often it's EST or PT. And for someone who's based in South Africa, what do I do with that? Should I be posting in the middle of the night? What? And what we did with our analysis is I really wanted to make sure that it was universally applicable. Wherever your audience is the time zone that we are. I'm fudging this. I'm trying to say basically the times that we have given for the study are globally applicable. So Julian has done some crazy mathematical magic, and he has made it universally applicable for your time zone. And it makes sense, right? Because audience behaviors and their patterns are largely quite similar throughout the day, right? They're going to be on Instagram at similar times if they're a similar demographic in different countries. So yeah, I've gone off on
I'm
a
so glad
tangent.
you clarified that. Thank you for no. I'm glad you did because I believe that, and I'm going off my memory. But when I look into the Instagram insights, it shows me best time to post based on Pacific. I believe I could be wrong on that.
Interesting.
So hearing you, I might be wrong, but hearing okay, we looked at the data and we analyzed what's best for your specific audience where you are is exactly what I needed to hear. So thank you for spending the time and really getting into the weeds to do that homework. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's all Julian. I feel like he should have come on the podcast to talk about this because he understands the nuance. But Daniel, would you like to know the best times to post on Instagram in
I
2025?
absolutely would.
Okay, so I've got them. So generally speaking, Instagram behavior, and this has been so fascinating because I can compare all of the data we have to other platforms. So LinkedIn is so predictable. There are chunks of time that are good for posting that we see that posts get high engagement or high reach. But for Instagram, it's slightly less predictable, but there is a definite pattern there. For TikTok, it's absolute chaos. It's sporadic high points throughout the day. I'm like, oh, is there a pattern here? I don't know. But anyway, Instagram is great. And generally, I can recommend if you can't be bothered with specific times, you don't want to figure out a fancy content calendar, between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. in your audience's time zone is the best time to post on Instagram. But I can also give you very specific times for each day if you're interested
I
in
would
those.
like any and all of that if you're okay to share it. I'm going to pause Kirsti there for a second. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Kirsti is going to tell you the best time to post every single day on Instagram. Stick around. Welcome back. We're talking with Kirsti Lang from the Buffer team, and she shares the best time to post on Instagram every single day. Here's the clip.
Best time to post on Instagram on Monday is 3 p.m. Then on Tuesday, it's 3 p.m. Wednesday, it is 3 p.m. Friday is 3 p.m. And then Saturday and Sunday, it is 6 p.m. Very predictable. Folks behave like clockwork. I like to think that people are like logging onto Instagram towards the end of the workday and into the evening, right? Because if you think about how you use Instagram, I would probably be willing to bet you're spending most of your downtime, evening time, logging onto the platform.
For me, it's short breaks throughout the day, but yes, significantly more. And especially my wife, I watch her when she comes home from work. She sits down on the couch to decompress for a little while. And that's the
Yeah,
first thing she does is start scrolling through. So I completely get that. And that makes sense. People do it on the train ride home or on the bus
exactly.
home, whatever. Absolutely makes sense. Do you have any data? And I'm sorry for putting this question on you on the spot, but weekends versus weekdays, is it worth posting on the weekends?
Data? I have the data. Yes, I do. So if you want to check out all of this and look at the data without my incoherent ramblings, do head over to buffer.com, or you can just Google when is the best time to post on Instagram, and it should come up close to the top, I hope.
I will link to all of this in the show
Oh,
notes.
bless you.
Please
Okay,
continue.
thank you. So yeah, there are marginal differences between the days of the week in terms of reach on Instagram. So what we did, it's also worth pointing out that we analyzed the reach of Instagram posts compared to the time that they were posted. So in the data, we are making these assumptions on best time to post based on Instagram accounts that posted at the specific time or in the specific day tended to get the most reach, just for additional context. But the best day to post on Instagram, according to our analysis, is Friday. But it's only marginally better than Monday. Monday is also a great day to post on Instagram. And then on the weekend, we see things are slightly lower than weekdays on a Saturday, and then fairly significantly lower on a Sunday. So I would avoid weekends if you can.
That is very interesting. That's actually a key takeaway because if you work very hard on the content and maybe you do that over the weekend, it's going to be worth it to wait until Monday at 3 p.m. your time for that added boost.
Yeah.
It's worth it, right? You've already made the content. You sit on it for a day and a half and you get more bang for your buck, so to speak. So I really like that and I appreciate that level of data.
Just the kind of thing that I tend to tell people, that obviously every single audience is different. And while this is probably true for a lot of people, and I think you will probably see good results if you do stick to these times, firstly, every audience is different. So you're going to need to experiment with these time slots, see if you can find your own sweet spot, right? And then secondly, I've completely lost my train of thought. Please edit this part out. Oh, yes. Secondly, the thing that I wanted to add was that posting at the best time in the world for your audience. If every single follower that you had was online at a specific time, it doesn't guarantee the success of your post, right? Because time is only a small part of the Instagram algorithm. And so there, I would argue, are other things that are more important. So for example, if you're posting reels, a strong hook, visual and verbal. If you're posting photos, are they authentic? Are they engaging? And there are a host of things to think about across industries. So the quality of the content is always going to be the most important thing. But if you have high quality content, you have a good understanding of what your audience is looking for, then posting at these good times is probably going to give your content a nice little nudge, but it's not going to be your saving grace if you don't know what to be posting for your audience. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm really glad you added all those caveats because those are really important. Just because you post at the world's greatest time does not necessarily mean that content is going to resonate if you don't have a good hook and all the other things you mentioned. So I'm really glad you said all of that. Kirsti, where can we continue to follow your journey online, and what can we look forward to you creating in the near future?
Yeah. Oh, good question. Whatever comes into my head on the day is usually what I create. I don't know. That's not true. There is a plan. But yeah, so I am getting a little bit more active again on Instagram. My primary social platform right now is LinkedIn because obviously I talk about things that are more appealing to professionals than Instagram audiences. But you can still find me having some fun around on there on Reels. It's me, Kirsti, on Instagram, and then Kirsti Lang on LinkedIn. Yeah, if you're interested in hearing some more of my incoherent ramblings. Also, check out the content on the Buffer blog. We have such great stuff and we have such wonderful experts on the team. It is a delight to create this content. So yeah, definitely do check that out if you want some social media guidance.
I will link to all of that in the show notes. Kirsti, thank you so much for coming on and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for putting up with all of my random rabbit holes that I went down there. I feel like I probably didn't explain things as coherently as I could have, but yeah, it's been a delight.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager but do not have a bachelor's degree, but actually that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.